If you've been stuck at zero or low sales with Amazon KDP and you can't figure out why, then this video will tell you the truth that no one else will. It's not Amazon holding you back, it's your Amazon KDP listing. And today I'm going to show you what's wrong, how to fix it, and how to start getting the results that you should have been seeing all along. I'm going to go through real listings from our KDP community to make it clear, simple, and actionable. Alright, so let's get right into this video. And just quickly, in case you're new to this channel, Cleo and I have sold over 240,000 books between our different KDP accounts. And we have a free authors Facebook group with over 230,000 members in it. And with our self-publishing Titans tools, we've helped over 300,000 authors publish their books on Amazon. All right, so let's get right into the first book here. So here with the Self-Publishing Titans Chrome extension, we can see that this book is currently not getting any sales in the last 30 days. So let's figure out all of the reasons why and how we can turn it around and make that better. So we're going to start by looking at the title, which says, "Y'all not gonna make me lose my mind." So that's in all caps, but then here the subtitle is not in all caps. So that already starts feeling a little bit inconsistent and just not the best practice. And its subtitle says, "Notes from a hip hop unicorn and suicide survivor." So that sounds pretty intense. So besides this not being consistent in the formatting, there's also no keywords that people are searching for on Amazon. So this will have to be definitely made up with the 7 backend keywords, and you would definitely have to have some really strong ones there. We can just quickly search to see if this is a keyword. This is part of the Self-Publishing Titans Chrome extension. In case you're not familiar with that or haven't used it yet, you can go to the Google Chrome store and just type in Self-Publishing Titans, and it'll be the bottom extension right here, which is replacing the 2 older ones. So this is the one we're using going forward. And I'll also put a link down in the description in the video. Here you can see all of the Amazon search suggestions. You can see the estimated monthly search volume. You can see the exact amount of competitors or search results, and then a demand score and an opportunity score. So you would just type in different keywords there until you find good keywords that you can put in. And ideally you find ones that have a demand and opportunity score of 5 or higher. And in those, you definitely want to put in your 7 backend keywords, because this right here, no one is searching for that, obviously. So the keywords is probably the main thing we have to fix here, because we're not getting sales. So that's the first thing that I would really make sure that you get right. And then next here, I can see that you have 3 different versions: Kindle, audiobook, and hardcover. So that's fantastic. I would also recommend that you have a softcover version, just because it's cheaper than the hardcover, and that can also help you get more sales. And then I would also make this available with Kindle Unlimited, just so you get more exposure, more readers, and then that will also help you get more reviews, because right now it looks like you have 0 reviews, which is also not the best. And if you want to get more reviews faster, you can also check out the Self-Publishing Titans Advanced Reader Copy service that was just launched recently, and help you get your first reviews, or use any other alternative like it, just whatever you find best for you. But that will also help you get a better conversion rate and better click-through rate, because Amazon is getting more and more competitive. So if you have no reviews and other books have reviews, then yours is obviously not as good. All right, so moving along here, let's look at the cover. So the image looks good. It's clear that the circle here has way too much text. So if you think about someone browsing on their phone, which most Amazon shoppers are doing these days, you won't be able to read this. And here we can already see, as a smaller version, you can't read what this text says. And obviously on a phone, this is even smaller. So this right here is definitely not helping you at all, because people can't read it. And then having a slanted font could be fine, but you could also try centering it and making it a little bit more straight, just to see if it looks nicer. And then here, the only other thing that's slightly confusing is you have one name at the top here, and then the Emilia name here at the bottom is a different name. So I'm not sure what the difference is between these two, but that's also something you would want to clarify, because if you have any confusions on the cover, it just will lead to less people clicking on your cover or wanting to buy it, because confusion just doesn't create sales reaches. So that's one thing to keep in mind. And then a slight thing I noticed here is that your cover is off center. So if you look at the left side here, there's a lot more empty space than on the right side. So you'd want to fix that. And then I guess the same goes for this text. We have more empty space here than on the right side. And then the person, same thing. there's less space here than here. Maybe for the person, not the biggest deal, but for the text, it's also noticeable. So anything that's not professional, we obviously want to fix. So that would be my tip for you there. Looking at your description, we have one, which is good, but we don't have any paragraphs or any formatting there. So that's one thing we always want to have. It just makes it look nicer, looks more professional, and also easier to read and digest the data. And then the two things that we see missing here, or the three things, is just an introduction line right at the top. And then right below that, you want to have 5 bullet points. And those bullet points would be the most important things about your book. So if you kind of think about if you were trying to sell your book to a stranger, what would be the first 5 things that you tell them about the book? And then that should kind of be your bullet points. And then right below, it's the bottom line here. We want to have a simple call to action that is ask someone to buy the book now. And that's just a simple thing we can do just to have slightly better conversion rates. So looking at your A+ content, we don't see any, which is unfortunate. So you definitely want to have that. You can have some images about yourself. You can hold the book. You could have a lifestyle image of somebody reading the book. You can have some quotes from the book. Just these kinds of things. You can just get creative and just try and figure out what would be things that potential buyers would want to see or read about your book, and just make it as interesting and visually exciting as possible. And then that will also help you get sales. Now looking at your categories, those are really important because Amazon uses those for the search algorithm and also to understand what your book is about. So you always want to have the most relevant categories. And if you have categories that don't really suit, then it could even confuse Amazon. So definitely not the best thing. So here we have motivational self-help and memoirs. So that's fine. I guess your book is most likely motivational, but maybe there's also something about general well-being instead of just motivation, because we already have motivation twice. So I think we could find one category that might be just as suitable as that one, just so we have a bigger variety here. You do have a good profile image, which is great. And I can see here that you also have a description, which is awesome. The only thing I would change here is not have your name in all caps, just because the rest here is not. So it just doesn't suit that. And then we've touched on the reviews here. We definitely want to get at least a couple. Even having a couple is good enough these days. So that's my feedback for this one. Now let's look at this one here. So this is also a book that is currently not making any royalties and no sales. So once again, we'll look at what's happening for this book. And it's always good to see different books because different books usually have different reasons of why they're not getting sales and different mistakes. So that's why I also make these videos every single day, because new books will present new mistakes or missed opportunities. So the more you watch, the more you learn, and the more mistakes you can avoid yourself. So the first thing that stood out is just the price of $25. So slightly high, and if we're not getting sales, there's obviously no reason to have it so high because we're not getting sales anyways. The only time I would recommend having it high is if you are getting sales and then you slowly increase the price and see how it's performing. So if you increase the price and the sales continue, or the royalties stay the same, then that's good. But if you increase the price and the sales slow down and royalties get less, then that obviously wasn't the best change. So that's just my first thought here. 25 just feels slightly high for a book that has no traction and hardly any reviews. So that's the first thing here. Now looking at your title, we only have a title and no subtitle. So not having a subtitle is definitely a missed opportunity, because the subtitle can often further explain what the book is about and also oftentimes have nice keywords in it. And here we don't have any. So let's just quickly read the title. So it says dreams don't have expiration dates. So that sounds nice by itself, but obviously there's no keywords. So that's the big missed opportunity. And once again, you'd have to make that up in your 7 backend keywords. But also not having a subtitle just doesn't help you with your click-through rates with potential buyers. So next I want to quickly go back to not the pricing, but the book format. So here it says paperback, but we don't even have a Kindle ebook version. So when you have a paperback version, you should always have a Kindle ebook version, because it hardly takes any extra work and it can just help you get more sales and more exposure. And the other thing to keep in mind is that every single book format type that you have, so paperback, hardcover, ebook, and an audiobook, those are all actually 4 different books and 4 different products on Amazon. And all 4 of them can rank individually for your main keywords and help you get sales and reviews. So just having one also limits your exposure and potential success. So you definitely want to increase that. Now next, let's look at your cover. So the cover looks good. We have a nice image here and the text placement looks fine. So nothing major I would change here. So overall, that's okay, and definitely not the reason we're not getting sales. So far it's definitely the unusual title and a complete missing subtitle and no keywords. and then the price, of course. So moving along to your description, I like that you have a long description here, but we also have unusual formatting here, so we're not giving space after the different paragraphs, which is also not the nicest. And then we do have it here, which is also inconsistent to here. But then once again, what we have missing here is a nice introduction line to your description. And then your 5 bullet points are also missing. And then we don't have a call to action for someone to buy a book at the very end. So all of those things you should change, and that should help you as well. Now moving along to the categories, let's take a look here. So general broadcasting, self-help and psychology, humor. So I don't know why you have humor. So far I didn't get the expression that this was a funny book, and then success, self-help, so it could be okay. So I would for sure change your second category just to make that more relevant. And if broadcasting is relevant, then fine, but there's probably a better category as well. And success, self-help, maybe that's okay. I would just spend a little more time on your categories, just see what we can improve there. And then you also don't have any A+ content, so that's one thing we want to fix for sure. So you can have more lifestyle images of yourself. You can have someone reading the book. You can have a picture of you holding the book. You can have some quotes from the book, just these kinds of ideas. And that will be an improvement. Now, for anyone new to self-publishing, and if you want free training, free tools, and free resources, you can go to selfpublishingtitans.com/free. I'll also put a link down below in the description just so you can click that and just check that out. And for anyone else that wants me to review their book for free, you can go to selfpublishingtitans.com/review and submit your book to me right here, and I would love to help you as well. And once again, I make these videos every single day, so make sure to subscribe and come back tomorrow so you can keep learning for free. All right, see you then. Bye.